We're talking prop bets for UFC 312, and I'm going to give you guys 4 of them in this video, not the normal 3. And mind you, last weekend's prop edition video, we absolutely slaughtered that card. Forget about how we went 10 of 11 for our picks on the card, and we cashed in on 3 underdogs, right? And Imavov, MVP, and Ziam, okay? If you guys remember on the prop edition video, we absolutely slaughtered our picks there, and we even threw out some winners that were as high as plus 600. Okay, so we're coming in hot. If you guys like this kind of content, do me a favor, smash the like button so I know you like these videos, and I'll continue to deliver on them. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I promise to keep the entertaining and insightful content coming your guys' way. And while you're at it, go follow me on my social media, man. I'm on Instagram at MMA Fortune Teller, where I got fighters like DDP hitting me up with that follow, and he's commenting under my post. Yeah, he did actually follow me yesterday, and I'm quite happy about that, man. I've been putting in a lot of work into some of the short content that I put out there, and DDP is probably like a top 3 favorite fighter of mine in the fight game right now. Okay, so when you have a fighter that you really admire in that type of sense, and he's following you on IG, it's pretty cool, guys, if you guys can relate to me there. And your follow would mean just as much to me. I would love for you guys to follow me over there as well, and catch me on Twitter at the MMA Teller. And what else can we say, guys? Let's jump right into this video. We're gonna cash.
The Teller.
Now, the first fight I want to talk about is a welterweight duel between Kevin Jousset and Jonathan Micallef. Micallef is making his UFC debut. He's still a young fighter at just 25. He showed some promising grappling skills on DWCS. I do have some question marks about his striking. Showcases decent power, but technically, I don't believe he's on the level of a Kevin Jousset, who looks pretty sharp there, even though he's coming into this fight off of a loss where he eventually did get outstruck and was finished by Bryan Battle. He did have a nice start to the beginning of that fight, and Battle is a high-level fighter. I believe if Jousset keeps this fight standing, he should get the better of the striking between Micallef. Kevin Jousset is a black belt in judo. He has really solid hips, and he is shown to be a fighter that's not easy to take down. Okay, so I think Jousset is going to keep this fight standing, and he's going to outpoint Micallef. The majority of Jousset's victories have come by way of decision. He has no problem with cruising to a unanimous decision type of victory. You've seen that from him. And really, the majority of any method of victory that we see across the board here is a decision victory for Jousset. And I see that taking place here. I think that that's how this fight's going to play out. If we do see a finish, I actually would say Jousset cracks Micallef with something and knocks him out. You take a look at the one loss Micallef had, and that's exactly how that played out when he was overly aggressive. But I'm going to favor a little bit more of a slow-paced affair. And as we take a look at some available odds, this will give me a chance to shout out my partners over at BetUS. We are powered by BetUS. If you guys are looking to sign up to a new sportsbook, reach out to me. I'll get you my referral link, and you will get a 150% match on your first 3 deposits. You guys can reach out to me, DM me on Instagram or Twitter, or shoot me an email, and I'll get you guys that link. And I'm liking the over 2.5 here, which is set at minus 155. I feel like this is one of those fights that will go to a decision. If you're looking for something a little bit more juicy, you can find Jousset to win via decision right around a plus 150. Okay, so if you're looking for some plus action, if that's what you're tuning in for, maybe that's the route you want to go. If you want to play it a little bit more safe, you can hit the over 2.5 or take the fight to go to the final bell. Up next, we're talking Cody Steele versus Rong Zhu. Zhu is a fighter, when he's losing, he's being finished, right? You take a look at his 6 losses. He's been finished in 5 of them. And especially when he's in his more high-level fights, right? When he's fighting under the UFC banner, he's not just losing, he's being finished often. Okay, now he's definitely being subbed more than being finished via strikes, but his last fight, he was finished via strikes by Chris Padilla, which was an underdog target of mine. The doctor came in and had to stop that fight. It wasn't necessarily that Rong Zhu just was KO'd and showed issues with his chin, but he did show some issues eating damage in that fight, and I think it's very likely that a fighter like Cody Steele, who pushes a crazy pace, can land some big strikes in this fight. We saw Steele in that last fight really pushing the pace, specifically with his striking. He was opening up on the striker in Chase and Blair. He was working the body, and he eventually got the stoppage there. You take a look at his last 4 victories. They all come by way of KO slash TKO. So even though some people look at Steele as more of a grappling based fighter, he has that wrestling background and he's active in the grappling world. He's a dude that really looks to go out there and slug it out and finish you like that. And I think you're going to see his striking ability technically start to evolve and grow as he gets more and more cage time. And, this is interesting, right? Because Rong Zhu is typically being subbed, but I think that it's more likely that we see Cody Steele get a stoppage via strikes. And that can come in a variety of ways. Maybe he digs to the body. Maybe he cuts Rong Zhu open and we see some type of doctor stoppage again. But I see him getting a stoppage via strikes. But I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a sub either. Okay, which is going to take me to a play that I like for this fight, which first and foremost is the under 1.5 at plus 165. I kind of like that. That's a juicy one there. If you want something even more juicy, you could take a look at Steele to win this fight via TKO, TKO slash KO, which you can get as high as plus 275. Okay, that's one that I really like if you want to go reach there. Or you could take a look at Steele to win inside the distance, which is set right around even odds. But I do like a finish in this fight, and I'm favoring Steele to be the fighter that prevails there. So you want to take a look at some of those lines. And I've been seeing a lot of people online talking about how the betting line, as far as the money line goes, is on Rong Zhu. And it's had me scratching my head because I guess they haven't heard that Zhu wrongs don't make a right. So check this one out. I think we got something going on here. Jimmy Crute returns to the cage to take on Rodolfo Bellato. And take a look at this. Jimmy Crute is coming into this fight off a little bit of a layoff, and he was submitted in his last fight. Okay, he was finished there. The fight before that, it did go to a draw. Okay, he was hit with some brutal strikes, and those strikes that were landed on him, which ended up pushing that fight to be a draw. Not only did it cost him from getting his hand raised, but he was very close to being knocked out in that fight. Then you take a look at the fights that were prior to that. He was knocked out in the first round against Jamal Hill and Anthony Smith. And then also when things are going good for him, he's getting his own finishes early on, right? Before that, he had a first-round KO over Modestas Bukauskas. He submitted Michal Oleksiejczak in the first round before that. He was subbed in the first round by Misha Serkinov before that. He got his own knockout victory against Sam Alvey in the first round before that. I think you guys see a trend going on here, okay? There's a lot of finishes going on, whether he's getting his hand raised or he's not. Okay, there's a lot of knockout subs. Okay, that's typically the type of fights that Jimmy Crute is involved in. And guess what? He has a very willing partner here. Rodolfo Bellato is a fight finisher. 7 of his 12 victories come by way of KO. He's getting better and better as a fighter. He surrounds himself with some high-level fighters, fighters like Alex Pereira. You take a look at his 2 losses. He was knocked out in both of them by the same man in Vitor Petrino. Okay, he got KO'd in both of his losses. We also seen him take damage that the last time he was in there when he got his hand raised. He still was hurt and bloodied up against Ihor Peteria, right? So what's the theme here, man? You take a look at both these fighters, and there's a lot of finishing going on, and I favor Bellato to hurt Jimmy Crute at one point in time in this fight and get a finish, but I wouldn't be shocked if Crute found a sub or found his own type of finish. Both these fighters push a fast pace, a high pace of action, and I think we're going to see someone get finished in this fight. So let's go ahead over to BetUS, where we're going to take a look at the under 1.5, which is at plus odds at plus 110. You can also target Bellato on a KO. Maybe you want to take a look at that, which you could find as high as, let's see here, Bellato to win via KO is as high as plus 175. You could take Bellato inside the distance if you want to play it a little bit more safe, right around even odds. I think it's very likely he could find a finish. Okay, but the under 1.5 is at plus 110. Doesn't matter who gets the finish. That's something you want to keep an eye on. And that takes us up to the last prop bet that we're going to target here. We're going all the way up to the main event. Maybe we see the bad blood settle. I mean, if DDP wins, it's probably the last time we see these two men in the cage together. If Strickland wins, trilogy may be set up for the next fight. This is going to be awesome. I'm very excited about it. DDP is a bona fide fight finisher. You guys have been hearing me shout that from the rooftops. You're going to continue to hear me shout that. Out of 24 professional fights that he's had, he's only gone to a decision 2 times. All right, so understand that. And I know one of those 2 decisions was when he faced off against Sean Strickland, who is not an easy fighter to get out of there. He carries those hands low. He has that Philly shell style. He really makes it work. All right, he's a sharp defensive fighter. But if there's a fighter that could potentially crack him, besides Alex Pereira, it's definitely a fighter like DDP who's super aggressive. Everyone's been referring to him as a fighter that fights like he takes the short bus. I mean, I get some of the disrespect that comes his way in that sense. He's not the most technical fighter, okay, but he makes it work, and that awkward, herky-jerky type of style gives fighters problems, all right? And let me just also note, the other time we've seen Strickland KO'd was when he got hit with a spinning hook kick by Zaleski dos Santos, all right? So when he keeps those hands down, he can be hit with the big shot. It's possible. We've seen it happen, and I think that DDP is going to get a KO in this fight. If I had to pick one method, okay, my gut is telling me that DDP is going to get a KO in this spot. Now, this fight can go a multitude of ways. DDP can hurt you, and then he could sub you. We've seen him do that to the best of them, like he just did against Adesanya. I mean, he's really a well-rounded threat. He has 9 KOs and 11 subs. We've never seen Strickland subbed, okay? So you take note of that. If we see a finish here, I'm leaning towards DDP getting the KO. So let's go see what's available as far as that goes. DDP to get that KO/TKO is as high as a plus 385. I think there's some value on that. DDP has already stated that he is going out there and looking to get the knockout. I've seen multiple interviews. People have talked about, hey, go rip his neck off, go pull off a sub against him. And I literally hear DDP say, we'll see if that's available. But in the meantime, I'm looking to starch him. I'm looking to knock him out. Okay, that's what he's been saying leading up to this fight. I've seen him say it multiple times. All right. And I think that's exactly what he's going to look to do. He's going to pressure and he's going to throw boulders at Strickland's head. And if Strickland, with that Philly shell style, if he's not out of range, if he doesn't slip the right way, we may see him knocked out in similar fashion to how that Pajeda fight played out. So that's a play that I like. And then also, we're going to take a look at the under 4.5. Okay. We got the under 4.5 set at plus 150. Okay. Vegas is favoring this fight to go to a decision similarly to what took place in the last fight. But we know as longtime fight fans, just because one fight took place the way that it did in the rematch, it doesn't have to take place the same. Okay. We see and rematches and trilogies, all kinds of wild stuff take place. I mean, just think back to any of those types of fights. So I think that we're going to see a different type of fight than the last one. I think this time it doesn't make it to the final bell. I like the under 4.5 at plus 150. I think there's some value on that plus sign. There's a lot of bad blood, a lot of bad, I wouldn't say bad energy and bad blood because you see him at the press conference and things are a little bit more even keeled this time, but don't let that fool you. Okay. These guys are going to go at it. There's a lot on the line from Strickland's side, with the fight going to a split decision, that's going to put a little bit of a fire more so under him to go out there and deliver and push the pace. And DDP, he is just built differently, man. That dude is an animal. Okay, he is a savage. Don't let the whole James Bond easygoing type of vibes trick you. Okay, he is as much of a warrior and a fight finisher as you'll see. So you got that going for you if you take that target there. That's the last one I'm throwing your guys' way. I like that. All right, guys. So there we go. You take a look. I got that shared in my story, man. I was pumped up about that. DDP hit me with the comment, a follow. I had to throw that in my story, put some jams behind it. And I'm rooting for DDP hard, man, for this fight. I really am. I'm hoping he gets Strickland out of there. And I'm hoping it's an exciting fight. I'm pumped up for it. And I'm also hoping that the DDP money line will dip down. And it hasn't thus far. Throughout the fight week. It's really been staying pretty high. We'll take a quick peek at that. DDP is currently he's a minus 200 on BetUS. I've been hoping to get him right around a minus 165. I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see. But besides that, I got quite a few official plays already locked in. If you guys want to work with me for my official targets for this card, do not hesitate to reach out to me and I'll give you guys further information. Shoot me a message on IG or Twitter or email me at MMAfortuneteller@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys so much, man. You guys all have a great fight week. I have a feeling you guys will be seeing much more from me leading up to Saturday night. All right, guys. So I'll see you soon. Signing out. Teller.
The teller. The teller. The teller.